What's up, y'all? Side Dish Sundays, Iron Skillet in the building. Today, I want to touch on my new project, my new short film, Choices, which will be released May 4th. If you're listening to this during the week, it's probably already out.
Yeah.
And you need to go check it out. It's streaming on YouTube and at bullwhipcrazy.com. So, this was over a year in the making. We had a side dish about this earlier in the year when the EP dropped, and we touched on the music of it and a little bit into the filmmaking aspect of it and the shooting. So I really want to dive into that aspect on this side dish, but I want to bring everybody up to speed on where we're at in the storyline and what this whole thing called Choices is. So it started as an idea for like a movie, so to speak, but through music videos. So we shot them all like we shoot music videos, but they have a storyline to them. Nothing crazy, just something, fairly simple to keep up with. And it actually goes along with the music. And that's what we talked about last time, is how I actually wrote the songs, depicting somewhat of the scenes that were happening in it. So we started with Migo. That was 2018. I believe it was the fall of 2018. Iron Skillet Part 2.
That's wild that it was 2018.
Right? I think I was 18, yeah.
Yeah,
last year was Gritty.
it probably was,
And
but
then,
it's just like doesn't seem like that much time.
Yeah, that was like peak Iron Skillet. Like, I don't want to say peak, but
we were
the
in
hype
the studio,
was real
yeah.
that summer and that fall. Like, we just came off of dropping Part 1 with bangers.
Yeah.
Clone, all that. And then Part 2, we had Migo. Simple idea. It was a hotel room shoot, and we had a bag, and it's actually a bag designed by High U Clothing. They do the 54D merch and the Woke merch, but it was called the Flight Risk Duffel, I believe it was, and now we have officially dubbed it the Migo bag.
Yeah, the Migo bag.
So
yeah.
whenever we go on a trip or something, I have my leather bag, and that everybody like, got the Migo bag with you.
Yeah.
So now it's just taken on like a personality in itself. So we started with Migo. And fun fact, my character's name is Migo. Also a fun fact, it is the only character with a name at the moment in the whole storyline of it. We haven't officially given names to anybody else's characters.
It's kind of hard to give names when there's no dialogue.
I know.
Yeah.
The only dialogue there was in Gritty.
Yeah.
So it started with Migo, which was me, Shah, and Logue. Logue comes through with a bag, the Migo bag, drops it off to me in the hotel room, and then Shah comes through, scoops it up. Simple. I know it's nothing elaborate, but that's how the story started. And then we just kept building and expanding on it. So that winter, 2018, early 2019, Rob Vinci came to me with a song called Gritty, and he wanted me to feature on it. And we were talking about shooting a video for it, and I was like, yo, I really want to expand on this idea, this video that we've already started. I want to kind of spread it out into a universe, or not even a universe, but just keep the story going. Mm-hmm. So Gritty came about, and it kind of introduces a different element to the story, as it doesn't tie in directly to Mr. Migo, but it's the same characters, and Choices helps tie Migo and Gritty together. So in Gritty, damn, now I got to remember what happened in Gritty. It's been a minute since I've watched it, but Rob hits me up, and Rob Vinci, go check him out, hits me up and has a job and needs somebody taken out, so to speak. So I had to get my hands dirty. We ended up taking said
Person.
their
Anatomy.
remains, yes, to a scrapyard and disposed of it. So, and it ended up being a snitch. So that kind of set that up. So Migo's on one side, Gritty's on one side, and here comes Choices to tie it all in together. So Choices starts with changes. changes. Starts off slow, but it's showing some goons, running up into my crib, looking for the bag or the evidence or something that could point them in the direction of what they're looking for. Man, I feel like I gotta like dive deep into it because I'm like trying not to give away too much for people that haven't seen it, but I feel like I gotta explain it.
I feel like
more.
if you don't explain it, this part of it won't make a lot of sense.
Right, it doesn't make a lot of sense, right?
So-
All right, so an overview before we dive into choices. So choices is 4 songs. It's like a 4-part. I like to look at them as like chapters. So we have the antagonist. Antagonist is the bad guy, right?
Yeah.
We have the antagonist played by Wade Gaskins. Real scruffy looking guy. He's got a nice beard. I was like, man, he looks like he could be a good bad guy.
Yeah, for sure.
And,
he killed it too. He killed it.
He did a really good job, an amazing job. All the actors did a great job. I mean, my co-star here, Shatora Lane, did a phenomenal job.
It was fun.
So the overview, the antagonist, Wade, is looking for the bag, the Migo bag, because that was his at one time, and it has very valuable information in it to him. So the last person seen with the Migo bag happened to be Shatora after the Migo shoot. So she is automatically the target.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So Shaw's the target. But like I said, all right, so that's the overview. Changes starts out, they're looking for it. But I'm still dealing with the ramifications of Gritty and what I did and mentally trying to get through that. My character's trying to overcome his past, so to speak. So Changes is about that. It's more of like an introductory into the roller coaster. It's when the roller coaster's kind of going up the hill. And then Blood, Sweat, and Tears, it gets a little deeper into the storyline. Shaw actually shot a gym scene working out. I was supposed to come through and meet you, but I'm out busting moves. Couldn't make it happen. And she gets kidnapped at the end of Blood, Sweat, and Tears. That's a
crazy scene.
It's a crazy scene. If y'all seen the trailer, it's wild when you actually watch it in Blood, Sweat, and Tears and you see the full scene of it. It's unreal. And the night we went to shoot that, you guys, I think y'all got it on like the 2nd or 3rd try.
I want to say it was like 3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
3rd or 4th?
Yeah.
I think like in the beginning it was like more so figuring out like shadows and timing of like my phone and stuff.
Exactly, there it is.
But like yeah, it was crazy. I don't know, like I've never really acted before, but it was fun. Like because I really wanted it to look authentic. Like I didn't want to. I feel like when you're doing stuff like that, if you half step, you look worse. So like I was just trying to like really go in.
You sold it, like,
and it felt like it looked pretty real.
You were struggling. I mean,
through my shaker bottle.
Yeah, through the bottle.
Yeah, it's
like,
crazy.
It was intense. That's another thing that you mentioned. You mentioned timing and shadows, and I feel like that's one of the biggest things is continuity. When you're shooting something like this, you got to pay attention to those things, like cars passing by with headlights, or maybe you're shooting downtown or in a public area and there's people walking around, and you don't want got to be posted up on the brick wall in one scene and then you shoot a different take and he's not there or something. You know what I mean? Little things like that I feel like make or break, and you guys say y'all don't notice it all the time, or they're not going to know, but you're the only one that's going to notice. Well, I notice, and you know, it's like the 7-Eleven scene.
It's like those are the gems though for viewers. Like if you're somebody that watches something and you catch that, it's like I don't know. I never think of it as like they did a bad job. I'm just like, ooh, that's cool. I noticed that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
some call them Easter eggs, or some call them fuck ups.
Errors.
Yeah,
that's a better term to
there
say.
You go.
Errors. So, where we at? Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Yep.
Shaw got kidnapped.
The disrespect.
It's crazy because then
She didn't even have the bag.
She
Yeah.
didn't even have the bag. They still got her for collateral or ransom or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
She was like bait.
Yeah,
Basically
so Dark Days starts out. I find out what happened. Shaw actually gets tied up and interrogated, which that scene right there, I want to talk about that real quick. So that was actually one of the first scenes we shot was Dark Days and Mr. Migo, which we shot in the same day because it's the same setting. Food for thought. If you're using the same location with the same people, you might as well shoot them in the same day. But all I really gave you guys was like a overview of what I wanted to happen. And of course, there was no dialogue to go off of, so you didn't have to memorize the script. But the fact that you guys took the overview and then just acted on it was incredible. And then you saying that you've never had acting or you never done any acting like that before. Have you ever taken like what is that, like an improv class or?
No.
You know what I'm
the
talking
most
about?
I've done is like public speaking class. I've never done like actual improv.
I
But
feel like we had that in middle school. Not an improv class. It was called drama.
yeah.
It's called drama.
Yeah.
You get up and improv a little bit, but no, you guys were naturals, and then like literally Shaw and Wade are just having a fake argument about nothing. Like I don't even know what they were arguing about. Well, you were arguing about the bag. That's what
Yeah.
it was. But just seeing the intensity in both their faces was incredible, and it really made the shots.
It was like a cool positive reinforcement to like see the shot, to like go through it, and then have like Trav watch it back and he'd just be smiling and like nodding his head. He's like, this is a good shot.
'Cause you
I'm
don't,
like,
you didn't
okay.
even see it. You're just sitting there. With
Yeah,
your
I'm just
hands
sitting there
tied
with my
behind your
hands
back.
tied, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. At least it's looking good on camera, you know. And everybody in the room is like, kind of giving you that like, okay, it's going good. So, yeah, that helped.
Yeah, so it was incredible. Shator's acting, Wade's acting. Shout out to all the actors on this. It was Shaw, Wade. We had Jose Saldivar, Lynx Hazy, Yellow Child had a role in it. Master Logue actually had a role in it. Jet Johnson was in it. He's in Changes. Deeds Dundada, he was at the barbershop. And shout out Kendall Sloan for letting us use the barbershop. Kendall's Cuts for a scene. I say Justin Toons.
Not yet.
Shout out Justin Toons. He was actually in a couple scenes. I don't want to leave anybody else out, but I think I got it all. We kind of kept it small on the cast. There's not really any extras. One reason being it's tough to schedule everybody. Like I was trying to get a whole crowd for the Mr. Migo, but it didn't work out that way. Not everybody shows up when they say they are, but you know that's the business. We've dealt with that for years, long before we were shooting movies.
Yeah.
But so Dark Days, she gets kidnapped. Bring it back. Mr. Migo is the climax. It's when it all goes down. It's when I take some action and I gotta get shot out of the mess. I'm not gonna give the twist away, but that's what happens in Mr. Migo. And we actually filmed a fight scene, which was intense. It was something definitely different than we were all used to doing. We had never tried anything of the sort, so it was a lot of trial and error. And you know, I've never choreographed a fight scene before until that day when I was like, all right, I'm gonna push you, I'm gonna swing on you, you're gonna swing on me, and then I'm gonna kick this over here. And like, so that was interesting, and having to reenact it multiple times so Trav could get different angles. That was, you know, something else too. You know, it was a whole experience. It was very eye-opening as to how movies are shot and things like that. And it's funny because we went to Chicago a month or two after we shot Mr. Migo, and then we seen that little fight scene booth promoting
Oh, that
the
was
Fast and the
so
Furious
much
movie.
fun.
Hobbs and
So
Shaw.
they were promoting the new Fast and the Furious. It was Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
They were promoting Hobbs and Shaw, and they had this booth set up at Complex Con in Chicago. And you could get in line, and they would actually walk you through a fight scene from the movie. On like they built a whole set of how it looked, and they had the effects already programmed in. So they would have a choreographer there to instruct you on what to do. They'd film it, and then they send it to our email. And when we shot our fight scene for Mr. Migo, we shot it in real time. Everybody's making the real motions, and Trav said in his head, all right, we're going to slow it down. But how they shoot them for like action films and like that is you actually act in slow-mo, and then they speed ramp it up. Mm-hmm. So when I was punching Shaw, or wait a minute, did I punch you?
Yeah.
Oh, I hit her with the backhand.
Yeah.
She hit me with a rock or something.
Yeah.
We had to do it in slow motion,
Yeah.
and then they would speed ramp it up to make it look better. So after that, I'm like, man, I just organized this whole big climax to my short film, and we shot it the wrong way.
Not necessarily the wrong way, just different.
It's
different.
It's
way.
different. It's
Yeah.
different. I'm not saying the wrong way. You're right. That was,
I mean, they still do fight scenes in real time. Like I'm sure, like all of like Jet Li's movies and shit were all
true.
Yeah. For
kind of
sure.
hard to fly through the air in slow mo unless you're like rigged up.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
That is a very good point. But
I think the hardest part of the whole thing was continuity, because we really shot the whole thing run and gun.
we did run and gun the whole thing.
I mean, we had a rough idea of how it was going to go, but on set, me and you would rack our brains around, wait a minute, does this make sense?
Yeah, exactly.
For the storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'd still catch ourselves having errors. I mean,
Yeah.
there's the beer can that
Yeah.
got placed in a shot. Shout out the beer can and the door hinge. But yeah, definitely the continuity part, and that's something that I take pride in is that continuity part, and actually making it all make sense. And like, I'm not going to shoot a scene at night and then get a reshoot at sunset.
I mean, you even stopped getting tattoos for the whole thing.
See, and that's another thing. And now it's like, if there was a reshoot, it'd look weird because I got a couple extra tats on my arm.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's right. I did. There was like a whole 6-month period where I didn't get a tattoo, a visible tattoo. I think I got one.
You got on your leg, maybe?
Yeah, on my leg, but I didn't get any on my arms or anything that would have been visible to mess up the continuity of the shoot. Speaking of continuity, we noticed when we were editing it all and putting it all together that, and this was a little while into the editing process and changes, I'm wearing a pair of Air Max 95s, orange ones. They were also in the same video in the closet scene. I was like, yo, Trav, we got the same shoe twice in 2 separate locations. You need to zoom in and take that out the shot, or
Yeah,
we ended up
zoomed
taking
in.
it out of my shot so you
Yeah.
couldn't see what shoes I was wearing, which is something against what I think, because I'm like, man, I wore these shoes. I want to show these shoes off. But for the
was-
continuity of choices, we had to take them out.
Yeah.
But it was an incredible experience. We've actually been talking of how we're going to continue on the story, and I've actually pitched Trav the next part, and Trav came back with a prequel, and I'm like, yo, that's crazy, because then it shows a lot more backstory into the
Yeah.
characters. So really all we've shown is these characters and what they're doing now, but you don't actually know these characters or
Yeah.
what they've gone through to get there, what they're doing now. So providing a little more backstory and kind of explaining more,
Yeah.
because as we're shooting music videos, you know, you're only getting 3 to 4 minutes, sometimes a 5-minute song. So there's only so much you could show throughout it. So, you know, we had to chop it up a little bit, but being able to dig deeper into the characters would be dope. And I mean, Logue's even talking about spinoffs and stuff, and he said something about aliens. I was like, whoa, this ain't Fallen
It's a bit
Angel.
far. It's a bit far.
Yeah, I love to bring the aliens back. I can't wait to bring the aliens back, but I don't know if they're in this universe yet.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't encountered aliens yet in this universe, so we're gonna
Hold off on that.
hold off on that for a couple more episodes.
But dinosaurs, they're in there.
Brandon's like, what?
So I guess we're gonna do some time traveling at some point in the universe. But also to go along with the short film. So the initial plan was to drop the short film the same day as the EP. Well, turns out a lot goes into making a short film, or even a couple music videos and tying them all together like this. So
I mean, a whole year.
it took a whole year. Yeah, I believe we started shooting.
What was the first? What did we start shooting first?
I think it was Mr. Migo. We shot the fight scene. Think about it.
At my house.
Yeah.
I know I saw on my archive the other day that it was like May. I think it was like May 26th is when we shot Dark Days. In that
Really?
room. Yeah.
So
Ooh,
it's definitely probably right around
that
the
is
year.
interesting. So that means that shot was the first shot we shot.
Yeah.
First shot we shot.
Because we moved in here on May. It was like May 17th or 18th.
You know what? I think you're right, and I've been telling this story wrong all the time because I honestly thought the first scenes we shot were the Mr. Migo fight scene day.
I
Yeah.
thought that they were the
Intro to Dark Days,
no, I thought they were.
which was the same day as the rest of Dark Days because I'm wearing the same outfit. Not that that means anything because we keep pulling back outfits all the time for continuity. I'm telling you, if you got different shirts on or something same day, it just don't look right. What did you think was the first thing we shot though?
I thought feel like we shot the performance scenes for Blood, Sweat, and Tears, the first ones.
Oh yeah, I remember that because I was doing BTS.
You were doing BTS.
Because we
You're
did
That
it
was
across the
probably
street,
the
and we did it at the other place
I-
down the street.
Down
I think that was
South
the
Braddock.
first thing
I
that you
thought that
shot.
those were the first scenes that we shot, but I could be wrong.
That was
I'm not going
early.
to say you're wrong there because all right, it's between that and Dark Days. You're right. Those Dark Days scenes predate the Mr. Migo shoot.
Yeah.
Man, I could have swore that. Hey, all right. Well, one of the last scenes was the kidnapping scene.
Yeah.
Actually, technically, the last scene was the last scene.
Yeah, the drone shot.
The drone shot
Drone shot and the door handle shot
and the door handle.
were the
All right.
last scenes that we shot.
Continuity. We had to get a door handle shot to make it for it all to make sense.
And we forgot about it until post. We were working on
Yep.
editing, and we're like, wait a minute.
We
forgot the
never
door.
showed me going into said room.
Yeah.
So we had, sometimes you got to do that to push the storyline on.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, a lot went into it, a lot of planning, and a lot of talks with just me and Trav, just talking about ideas like, well, what do you think about if we do this with this character? Or what if this character does that? Or, all right, we're going to have Logue pick you up here. And so a lot of talks before we even put anything into motion. And then another, big thing that was just tough was scheduling.
Yeah.
Timing wise, and hell, if it was raining one day, well, if I needed a clear day, I'd have to wait and then work it into whoever's schedule again.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of, that's why we kept it as a smaller cast, because it is tough to work with a bigger cast and everybody's got lives, and this ain't
We weren't paying.
nobody
anybody.
got paid for choices.
Yeah.
But everybody did it for the love, and I appreciate it, and I can't wait to show everybody how it came out, and I can't wait for y'all to see it, and hope y'all like it. You already know what it is. So we're dropping Choices May 4th, which is actually 5-4-D, 5-4 day.
Star Wars Day.
Nah, it's 5-4 day. But
There you
anyways,
go.
we're dropping Choices, the short film, bullwhipcrazy.com. It's going to be on YouTube. I'm also dropping an EP of altered versions of the short film. So Changes features Spirit. Blood, Sweat, and Tears has Detroit and Yellow Child. Dark Days has Master Logue and Jet Johnson. And Mr. Migo is Detroit and Yellow Child. And everybody killed it. It was incredible. The original project didn't have any features, so I was like, you know what? I can really hear Detroit on Mr. Migo, so that's got to happen. And Jet actually turned in his verse for Dark Days yesterday. Like, we're 5 days out from the drop, and he's like, I got 8 bars on Dark Days. Well, I recorded 8 bars. I got to put down the rest of it. So, yeah, I was here till almost 12 last night mixing that, which was actually funny. I'm sitting there mixing and mastering it, and then I hear something, look over my shoulder. I'm like, what is that? Trav was talking to me through the security camera. We got a security camera in here, and
Trav was talking to you.
Trav was talking to me from across town. I don't even know what he said. I can't even understand it. Like, it's a bad quality mic, but that thing talks to you.
Yeah.
And it records audio. Y'all could hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Off topic, but that was crazy. So, yeah, fun fact. Jet turned in his Dark Days verse 5 days before the drop. I actually just caught this the other day, is what Logue was talking about in his Dark Days verse, and it blew my mind because I've been listening to it for like 2 or 3 weeks now, and I never caught it.
Didn't pick it up.
But he said, I was working on myself. Bullshot and Trav put it on their backs. And he was referring to the last couple months.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yo, this is deep.
Yeah.
Like,
He killed that.
you know,
That
that
song, that remix of that song is, I mean, the original was a banger.
Yeah.
And then they like put a different spin on it.
Right.
And it's just,
yeah, it's wild. So he said that, and it blew my mind. And actually, I caught that like yesterday. It's like, man, this guy apologized and didn't even tell us he apologized. He just put it in a verse. Like, my guy. So shout out to them. Shout out Jet, Logue, Yellow, Detroit, Spirit for all being a part of Choices Altered, which is out on all platforms Monday, May 4th. Shout out everybody that was part of the short film Choices. My co-star Shatora Lane, co-stars Wade Gaskins, Jose Saldivar, Master Logue, Yellow Child, Lynx Hazy, Justin Toons, Deeds Done Dada, Kendall Sloan. Shout out my brother T. Clem for shooting it and doing everything he does and being such a outstanding citizen. Shout out LDN Colin for producing the whole tape and allowing me to purchase the exclusive rights to everything. That's my guy. Appreciate you. And shout out to y'all for listening to us and putting up with our shit. But yeah, go check out Choices, all platforms. Choices Altered, all platforms. Choices the short film, YouTube, and at bullwhipcrazy.com. Iron Skillet Podcast, Side Dish Sundays.